Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the very first Community Impact Spotlight of 2022. Community Impact Spotlight is a ministry of First Baptist Church North Indianapolis where we take the opportunity to showcase individuals and organizations who are making a positive impact on our community. So we are glad that you are here today, and I am Reverend Tanya Hill, your host today. Our theme for today is ministering to the heart of youth. As you know, the past year has been a rough year for everyone, and in particular, our youth. And so we are really grateful that we have people in our community who take the time to serve our youth in a very unique, impactful, positive way. So our guests today are all here to showcase what they do, discuss service gaps, and to let you know what you could do to help. So at this time, I would like for each of our guests to introduce themselves, and we will start with Brother William Durham.
Good afternoon. My name is William Durham Jr. I serve as the executive director for the 100 Black Men of Indianapolis, and I have been an advocate for youth at least for the past 20 or so years. My passion for youth kind of stems from my upbringing, and I'm excited to be here on this afternoon.
We thank you. We're so glad that you're here. All right, at this time, we would hear from Sister Demetrius Bruno.
Good afternoon. I'm hoping almost afternoon, everybody. I am Demetrius Bruno. I am a activist, philanthropist, founder, CEO of Redemption Outreach Services Inc., or you might hear them refer to us as ROSSI. We are a youth based or youth focused organization, and I guess we'll talk more about program entities here during this podcast broadcast.
All right, thank you so much, Sister Bruno. Sister Don Walker. I am not able to hear you. Is your mic on?
Now you can hear me, right?
There you go.
All right. I'm Reverend Dawn Walker. I am kind of filling in for Reverend Malachi Walker. We have been serving as a team, the city of Indianapolis and the youth for 28 years with our program, Young Men Incorporated. Before that, we both grew up in the housing project together. And we even were like on the teen club in the housing project, Twin Hills Community. And he was the president and I was the secretary, and we've kind of been that way since then.
All right. Well, we're so glad that you're here with us today. Sister LaVon Bradley.
Hi, my name is LaVon Dunnican Bradley, and I am the founder and CEO of a 501c3 nonprofit organization that's named We Hype, and the Hype stands for Helping Young People and Parents Excel. We have been operating in this fashion since 2011, and it's community-based, but in particular, working with our youth and trying to bridge the gap between the youth and the parents.
Okay, thank you so much. Brother John Hunt.
Yes, I'm John G. Hunt. Been working with youth for about 3 decades from Gary. Programs, it's too many to name, but Application for Life, Leadership by Example, Steering Young Minds. I'm the director of Young Champions. It's a faith-based, value-based organization.
All right. Well, we thank you all for being here. So we'll jump right in. I would ask Brother Durham if you could share what have you noticed is going well with youth in Indianapolis?
What I have noticed that is going well with youth in Indianapolis is opportunities. There are a number of opportunities that our youth can take advantage of here in the city of Indianapolis. And so just having access to those opportunities, I think speaks volumes to our youth. And I have seen here in the past couple of years or so, that there is a shift in our youth. It seems that from my perspective that more and more youth are looking for opportunities to better themselves and looking for opportunities to advance academically with their social skills, with their work-related skills as well. So what I think is working well are the opportunities that the youth have here in the city of Indianapolis.
Oh, that's great to hear. Great to hear. Opportunities. It sounds like we might need to do a better job with making them aware of the opportunities that they have. So thank you so much, Brother Hunt.
Yes.
What do you see that's going well?
Well, it really depends on the age group that we're talking about. If we're talking about second, third, fourth, and fifth graders, they are very responsive to change, learning, cognitive elasticity, social wealth, so on and so forth. If we're talking about teenagers, to be honest with you, this 99% of Black males want to be rappers, and I mean 99.9%. That's an issue. So if we break it down to age groups, then I'm optimistic about the second, third, fourth, fifth graders, those 8, 9, 10, 11-year-olds. But when we're talking about the group 14, 15, 16, 17, I'm less than optimistic with what's going on. That's not just Indianapolis, but the United States and as a whole.
Okay. Thank you so much. And so I know that Sister Bradley and Sister Bruno both work with older age children. So if you two could share, what do you see going on well with youth? I know, Sister Bruno, you are in a position where you offer training and job placement. So what do you see that's going on well with youth in the age group that you're serving?
I have actually shifted just a little. I think my focus has always been on the early childhood development piece because, as he said before, if we can get our hands on them early, you can start to shape and mold them. They're so influential when you get them in the prior to adolescence or the elementary school age. Groups are so, like he said, easy to engage and so moldable. So we've been working a lot with our technology programs to kind of incorporate a younger based focus. So our IT program, we can actually facilitate training for as young as first graders on up. So the early childhood development piece, I think, will be key. And as both of the two that spoke prior to me, I feel that the opportunities are there. There's a lot of wonderful organizations that are readily available. And just like you said, engaging them and making sure that we're doing our part to make sure that they have the support that they need.
Okay, thank you. Sister LaVon, what do you see that's going on good with our youth? Even, I know you're serving also a homeless population of youth, but even within that group, what things make you optimistic about the future of our youth?
I'm going to piggyback on pretty much everything that has been said. And I'm just going to add the addition because it is a challenge for the younger group. There's tons of organizations, mentorship, partnerships for them that you can get a hold of now and begin to mold them. But again, as they begin to age out, because even for the organization I work for, which is Outreach, we service the 14 to 24-year-olds. And so that in itself, being those of teenagers and young adults, it's very challenging to find organizations that are helping them completely. Now, there's the resources there. So it's kind of a catch-20 because the limitations come in depending on what's going on with the individual. So if they are like one that's, I'm going to say these words loosely, high function, they could probably get into any and all of these. But when we have those that are challenged, be it, their status or anything of that nature, those are the ones that are coming up short. And it's kind of difficult trying to find an organization to really cater to their needs.
Okay, good point. Sister Walker, are you guys still focused on younger youth with the Young Men Inc.?
We serve ages 8 to 17. What we find is the ones that get in there really young and stay, because some of them will only come for a little while, and then others, we have kids who start at age 8 and they're there till they're like 21, 22, actually helping to run the program. But we don't have as many mentors probably as we need. And we actually find that the longer they stay in our program, the better or the more high functioning they become.
Okay. Well, it does sound. It does sound like we do have a degree of optimism about the youth in our community. There are definitely some concerns. I want to spend a little time talking about some of those concerns. Some things will be unique to Indianapolis youth, and some will be very broad, like it's the same thing wherever you go in this country, what's going on with our youth. One of the biggest problems that we're dealing with that has elevated is certainly violence. There's always been violence with youth, but I think it's at an all-time high in this particular city. So outside of the violence, I would say outside of violence and mental health status, what would you say you see as some of the bigger needs of the youth in our community, meaning here in Indianapolis?
Is that like an open question for anybody?
It is.
I would say keeping them engaged and focused. If they have access to a wealth of information, like we had to go into the library and get encyclopedias and, read, and they have these things at their fingertips. And it's just about, like I said, making sure you're navigating their time to where they're using that in the most effective way. It is a big concern. Just staying with them and guiding them through their journey, and making it as lucrative, if you will, even a word for their age demographic, but just making sure that they're investing their time into what's going to be beneficial to their future, because it's coming. I was young too, and now I'm full grown woman. So I think that's the main focus for me as an org leader.
Okay. That keeping them engaged is a need. Anyone else have anything they would like to add to our list of violence reduction, mental health services, and engagement?
I would like to just dive in there again with the population that we're servicing. And just like she just said, the involvement, more partnerships that will create that youth and young adult involvement, giving them that sense of belonging. One of the things I'm learning just with working with these youth and young adults, letting them, feel that someone care is helping them, because they're looking for that. Like when I say they are so thirsty for that, and I'm not saying it in a bad way or negatively, but it's their truth. They want to feel like they belong because they're out here and they feeling like they're by themselves. They have no hope. They feel like they have no help. And so they don't have any confidence that they can even make it. And so giving them that, that surrounding, that familyship, or that, that out, that someone cares, someone see you, someone wants you to, do better and become your better self. So I think if we can get to that right there, and I know it's complicated and it's very difficult because we're talking about some young people that think they know everything. So it's almost like a deprogram and reprogram.
Okay, good. All right, thank you so much. Brother Hunt, can you share briefly a biblical narrative that comes to mind for you that instructs us on how to authentically love youth?
Well, really, it's Jesus when he told the people in the audience that You need to follow. You need to be like these children. Be authentic. Be real. And that's what is really the theme that I use when I talk to the children. And then another example is basically being truth. I call it teaching reality, using truth holistically. Being telling them the truth. The subject we worked on yesterday at the Boys and Girls Club. We talk about biblical principles. I had 70 total, but it's 5 different groups. And the second graders, I asked them, who do they know in the Bible? Who's a hero? Out of 19 kids, only one went to Sunday school. 19. And one mentioned Batman and one mentioned Iron Man. They thought that they were heroes in the Bible. So that's where we're at. So, and then we discussed domestic violence from the second graders to the 8th graders. You couldn't hear a pin drop. It was that quiet when we discussed domestic violence. So I think one of the things that we're missing in the Black community is truth. We try to sugarcoat too many things. So I think we have to get back to that. And the biblical principles is real simple. Jesus gave truth. He was not ashamed of it. He was not afraid of it. And that's what he said. And that's what he did. And I think we have to get back to that. And that's what's missing in my perspective.
Thank you. I know one that comes to mind for me is that he will leave the 99 and return and go after the one. I think, Levon, you had said that it's hard. Working with youth is a challenge. It is a bigger challenge now than it has been before. Sometimes I believe we are not properly prepared. There's generation gaps. There's lack of training. There's lack of understanding. I think as adults, we often don't really understand what it is to be exposed to such a degree of trauma that youth are today, and minister to them without saying, oh, get over it. Come on, you got to do this kind of thing. And so going after that one, that is a narrative that really speaks to me when it comes to serving youth. He didn't say it was easy to go back and get one, but it's something that we need to do. So anyone else have anything to share about a biblical narrative that kind of gives us the guideline of what we need to do and how we need to do it when it comes to our youth?
Well, for me, I go in knowing that sometimes I'll be the closest thing to Christ that they will encounter sometimes, or their first experience. So I go in with, a loving and a genuine concern for their well-being. And for me, let them know how of value they are. Even, they have a faith walk as well. They are just as accessible to the Christ I know that I am, than I am. And so, and I always use the example of how, Jesus did the biggest miracle that I don't know if it's the biggest, he's had a bunch, but he did one of the biggest with the help of an obedient child offering his lunch of 3, pieces of fish and 5 loaves of bread. He fed 5,000. So I always like the gentleman said also, the practical use of biblical principles, the power of prayer. They go through things just like we do. And, prayer, is a way to speak directly to God and ask for his favor and make petitions known. So for me, I go in with the understanding that I may be the very first encounter. And I just want to make sure that they know that they have access to a higher power that's able to do anything and help them to accomplish anything, and be that example of what his goodness and his grace has been in my life. So that's the perspective that I come from.
Good point. That 5 and 2.
Yeah.
The obedient child that brought the 5 loaves and the 2 fish. Bring what you have.
Bring
what you have and let him work the miracle. Okay.
Absolutely.
So good point. Now I would like for us I want to spend some time allowing you all to showcase what services you provide. Describe your programs, your mission, your vision. What is it that you're doing that is really impacting our youth? And so I think I will begin with Sister Walker.
Okay. And I'm probably not going to do as well a job as my husband would do, but we founded Young Men Incorporated back in, I believe, 1990, maybe 1998. We've been working with those youth for about 28 years. We started with 23 boys, and now because of COVID, our numbers are reduced. But back in when we had a full count back in 2019, we had about 102 young men that started our summer empowerment camp, which is the majority of our program is the summer empowerment camp. Within that empowerment camp, we pick up the boys Tuesdays, Thursdays, some Wednesdays. And then during that particular time, they show them how to address different concerns, not only with our youth, but like within their family. So they do a lot of interaction with the young men in our program. We call them young men. We have a military style of discipline. So if they get out or order or something like that, they may have to do push-ups. They're set up in squads. What else can I tell you? So we say that we support the boys in mind and body and soul and spirit. All those things, we kind of round them up together. I believe that it takes a village, like they say. It takes a village. So it's not going to be Young Men Incorporated. It's not going to be the Boys Club. It's going to be all of us together to reach the ones that we can reach. Our program has had success in that we do have a lot of young men who are, once they age out of our program, many of them go on to college. Every year we do a college tour. And we take them, we show them what it's like to be in college. We let them tour the dorms, and we let them talk to financial aid so they get that experience. When we need to, we help them fill out financial aid papers. We do a lot of social, emotional type programming with them. But we just try and we kind of keep their parents included, and that, their parents have to be on board. We don't want you to just come and say, fix my son, because we're not the fixers. We will try to help. But if young men don't really want, because you have ones that just don't want to be in a program like ours. So if we can, we'll refer them somewhere else. But the first thing we ask them when we do our recruiting, is this something you would like to do? Is this something you would like to be a part of? Some of them say no. If they say no, we take them aside. We let one of our younger mentors talk to them about our program. And we have people who initially they said no, and then they say yes. But we have now young men that have graduated and aged out, but they're now educators. They're now in the military. I think one of them is doing photography now. One of them worked for the CIA, things like that. But all of them started usually at a young age in Young Men Incorporated. So again, I would say that we can't fix all of them, but we believe each one reach one. And if each one of us are just doing what you can and working together as you can, and it's not about me, it's not about you, but it's all of us. We gotta reach as many as you can, because you won't know my backdrop, you won't know my story. But I've been affected by violence, and I'm a pastor, but we lost our oldest daughter to violence, and so she had 3 children, and so we had to step in and help raise those children and help them see that they are not just their circumstance. And sometimes you have to do that for these youth. Let them know that they're not their circumstances. They're not their situations. They are who God made them to be. And that's to be holy and created, and also wholly submitted and committed to him, but that's a choice.
Thank you so much. So what would you say is the overall vision for Young Men Incorporated?
But I think the vision for us, we want to try to get more of our mentoring done. So after the summer, we put the children that are we feel that are most needed into mentoring, or their parents will say, look, he did okay during the summer, but I need help right now during the school year. So we try to match them with mentors, but we need more mentors. And so I believe my husband would say that's one of our visions, is to be, have more mentors, or even to branch out and maybe use the model that we use and take it other places.
Okay.
We haven't done that yet, but that would be, I would say, our vision.
Okay, thank you so much. I would like to share what I found to be a funny story about your program. Probably, let's say 12 years ago, maybe, your husband called. He said, Miss Hill, do you have a Scared Straight program at the Marion County Juvenile Detention Center? I want to bring a few boys over. And I said, sir, we don't have a Scared Straight program. And honestly, many of the youth that find themselves here, they don't find it to be a scary place. It's probably safer than the place that they're coming from. But we can show you how we operate and what the process is, and encourage your young men not to come this way. And he says, okay. And so I set it up, and he said a few young men, right? The day that it shows up, they call me to security to come and sign him in. He comes in, he has 2 bus loads of young boys. I was like, where we gonna put them? So it just blessed my heart to see the numbers that you guys have grown to, and even the passion and the attention to detail and the love that you pour in to you. So I applaud you all for that. I thank you so much. You're very dedicated, faithful couple in ministry. I do recall when your daughter passed, and even at that time, you guys kept doing what you do for your family and others. So God bless you for that. Brother Durham, can you come and tell us about the 100 Black Men of Indianapolis, and especially the Botillion?
Yes, ma'am. So the 100 Black Men of Indianapolis, we are a youth serving organization. So we provide programming to males and females, actually from kindergarten through college. Our mission is men giving real time to positively impact the development and outcome of youth in our communities. And that is accomplished through 4 pillars that we have here at the organization. And those pillars are education, economic empowerment, health and wellness, and mentoring. Of the 6 programs that we have, 2 of those programs are specifically for young men, and the other 4 are both for males and females. So those 2 programs that are specifically for young men are our team mentoring program, which is a program for young men between the 5th and the 8th grades, where we connect those young men to mentors here in the city of Indianapolis, and they take them through a curriculum that we have. And we talk about self-awareness, interviewing skills, decision-making, things of that nature, to really get these young men on a track to success. Then the other program that we, probably one of our flagship programs that most people know about, is the Botillion Militaire Program. And typically that program is for juniors and seniors, junior and senior males in high school. We've had to make some adjustments to that due to COVID. So right now that program is only for seniors, but nonetheless, it is a college readiness and rites of passage program for these young men. And it is a 16-week program. So we have mentors that come in for 16 weeks, and they spend time with these young men, and we talk about academic achievement, community, cultural awareness, personal growth, ethnic pride, and leadership skills. One of the, in my opinion, one of the greatest impacts of that particular program is that, and in the questioning earlier, we kind of talked about authentically loving youth. And I believe that one way to do that is to be transparent and share with the youth the challenges that we have had growing up. Because what they see us.
Mm-hmm.
They see us in our shirts and ties. They see us in our, business suits and our dresses and the whole nine, but they don't know how we got to where we are. And so I think one of the most powerful components of the Battalion Military Program is that the men that come in to mentor the young men are very honest about the challenges that they have had, about the obstacles that they have had to overcome, and sharing with those young men that if I can overcome these obstacles, then you can as well. And so this program really does highlight getting these young men on a track to be successful post high school. Something else that we have learned through this programming is that not every child is ready for college. Now, for years, we have pushed students to college. We've said, college is the way to go. And that is true. College is important. But what if I'm not ready for college? What is my pathway if I'm not ready for college? So, we're looking at also some workforce development programming in this particular program so that once students graduate high school, they have a pathway either directly into college or into the workforce. That way, these young men are well prepared for what it is that they are going to do once they graduate high school. Our motto for the 100 Black Men of Indianapolis is what they see is what they'll be. And so we are very, very intentional about who we put in front of the young men. We want to make sure that the individuals that are mentoring our young men are individuals that can speak life into the young man, and individuals, that can promote the success of the young man, and also individuals that are comfortable being transparent and sharing adversities that they have had to overcome in their lives to get to where they are. So that Battalion Military Program, it culminates with a scholarship dinner. And if you have never attended or seen that scholarship dinner, it really pulls at your heartstrings because these young men have spent the past 16 weeks working on themselves. And so this culminating dinner, the fathers or the significant males in their lives are there to kind of pass the baton of manhood to these young men. And then they also get to dance with their mothers as well. And so it is very, very heartwarming to see. And one component of that program is that we raise scholarship dollars for the young men. And so every young man in the program receives some type of scholarship dollars that can go towards their education once they graduate high school.
Yes, thank you so much. I can attest to the impact that it's had on our community and our young men. I have several family members who have completed the battalion, and my son is one of those, and it was a great experience for our whole family. Not just a great experience, probably life-changing. One of the things that was done that our community has found necessary, I remember you all had an officer come and train the young men of how to respond in the event that they had an encounter with law enforcement. If you're in the car, if you're walking, what should you do? Just that piece alone could save a life. And so I applaud the 100 Black Men of Indianapolis. This is a great, great program, and I'm so happy that it is available. Also, I know that you do, in the past, you have had like a summer program for younger students, and so you guys are doing a great work, so we thank you for that.
Yeah, we still have that summer. It's called the Summer Academy.
Okay.
It's for kindergartners through eighth graders, and it has been voted for the past couple of years, the best summer program in the city. And we
Okay.
intentionally call it a summer academy as opposed to a summer camp
Okay.
because we have licensed teachers that are there to teach the individuals that are in that program. So the morning is all academics, and in the afternoon, we have enrichment programs for the participants as well. But it is an awesome program, and we're currently taking applications for that program right now. So if you know young people that are between kindergarten and eighth grade, and they are looking for something to do for the summer, please direct them to our Summer Academy program.
Certainly. And I'm very proud of you, by the way, my fellow Pike alumni.
Yes, ma'am. Pike High School. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now if we could hear from LaVon Bradley about We Hype and outreach.
Okay, so I'll piggyback off of some of what's already been said. Our biggest thing between both organizations, mine personally and the one that I'm employed with, the saying where if you teach a man to fish, he eat for a lifetime. So our whole goal is equipping these young people in every facet of life, empowering them by equipping them. Some of the events that We Hype do it within itself is the mentoring program. We have the summits that we have, and of course with COVID kind of shift a lot of these things, but just without in general, those are some of the things that we were doing there, being that village for the young men, making sure that, we pushed them as they were in school, getting them connected to some of the resources that were out there that we ourselves could not provide. And then on the outreach side, we do, because that demographic is dealing with instability in their, housing, we help them get housing. Some of them, they don't have identification. We take them to get, we go to the BMVs, we go to the health department to get birth certificates. We go to Social Security office and get that. We provide those services for them as well. Those that are truly on the street, they can come in and get a shower. We have a clothing pantry, and that's on both ends. We offer clothing, food, so they get fed there. Some of them just, for a whole day, if they just need to get some sleep, because a lot of them are in the shelters and it's not the safest place. And some of them have deemed it safer on the street than it has been in a shelter. So even with that mindset, we try to provide them with all the necessities that they could use for that, like the sleeping bags or tents, things of that nature. There are hand warmers. So we're trying to equip them, but all at the same time, we're teaching them. And when we get to talk with them, and me personally, I'm always trying to pour into them. And like I said, some of them come in there and they got some challenges that's greater than others. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to at least either plant a seed or nurture that seed there. And so some of those are so that's just some of the things that we try to do for them. And there's more services that we have there because with employment as well. But it's overall just really trying to equip them and to empower them. And this to help them to have this life, transformation of stability.
Okay. Ms. Bradley, I have a question. Have you, what are the numbers like with the students that you're serving at outreach? And have you noticed an increase during this COVID situation? Has the numbers went up or have they stabilized or decreased? Kind of share briefly about that.
Okay, so for outreach, there's two parts with it. So we have the program center. We basically, if you homeless, you come through that door. Then we have the side where we're working with some of the schools. Pike is actually one of our schools that we're working with. And so we work with those students that are coded homeless that's in the schools as well. Same thing, getting these services as well. They have, from my understanding, the numbers have increased due to COVID because, like everybody is experiencing this. So at one point where they had, if it was minimum stability, well, COVID came in and took away that little of stability. So now they find themselves pretty much without anything and anyone. So our numbers have definitely increased since COVID.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing that. Ms. Bruno, can you tell us about Rossi?
So I guess the program sits on a tri-sector. So it's crime prevention, intervention, and reentry. So with that being said, the purpose is to impact the risk of crime or impact crime over all spectrums by making the individuals as self-sufficient as possible. So the goal is to provide programming that's going to make them, more marketable in the workforce. So we do a lot of career path development. As I said before, our programs sit on things that are credential building, things that are resumeable, jobs, job ready. Even our youth program, like I said before, we have IT is a booming industry. It's where things are headed is technology. So, and I find that even on the adult side, having a TIA comp program, it tends to be a lot for an adult, but I guess the concept is to start them as young as possible. Then they will grow within that industry and it'll feel comfortable. So we have a music media technology program, which teaching the skills, but it's got an entrepreneurial platform as well. So we've nurtured our young people to come back to us and want to start apparel companies. Definitely the career path development piece is important, but we are also heavy on the financial literacy, things like that. Also life coaching, which would consist of conflict resolution, to just your personal grooming piece that's going to be important to them and their ability to earn higher wages or have that mindset that you're wanting to aim for as much money as possible, because everybody's got to work one day, hopefully, realistically, I guess is the word. And you can make minimum wage, or, that could be, thousands of dollars for the amount of hours that you put into, let's say, closing on a house. So it's all career path developmental style programming. It might not be as fun as a lot of summer camps, but we have everything from paid internship opportunities for youth, depending on what funnel of resources that we have had in the past, and we're looking to do a lot more with the paid internship piece. And just like I said, our programs stem from just trying to prevent crime by knowing that the highest risk individuals are most susceptible to being involved with crime, either being the corporate of it or recipient of it. So it's all about self-sufficiency and accountability through our programming thread.
Well, you said it might not be the funnest, but it is kind of fun when you get a paycheck at the end of a program.
Yeah. they like it a lot. When we can, we definitely award and reward heavily. And also, we have some pretty key community partnerships that's allowed not only me, but Levon. We sit on a committee where we get to put our hands on a lot of youth, not only here, but, I travel Midwest with, workshops and things like that. So it's just about getting them ready. Like, you're going to be an adult. Now, what kind of adult do you want to be? I guess trying to make sure that they're aware of the different levels of quality of lives. And with hard work and dedication, any and everyone is equally capable of reaching them. So that's our whole goal is, like, what do you want to be? And it's not a cookie cut style of programming.
Yeah.
I think I faded out. We do needs assessment where we're trying to customize these program pieces to where it fits their personality, their strengths, and we're finding, of course, as an adult, we know that if we wrap our jobs around things that we like, it doesn't feel like work, and we tend to go up the ladder a lot higher with those options. So
Yeah.
it's about being strategic and making them look forward to a brighter future with a little dedication and hard work on their
Okay.
end.
Well,
Or
thank you so
personal
much.
investment, I guess, is what we want to deem that.
Yes. Well, good. I'm glad, proud of the work that you're doing with Rossi and in the community, and even the concerts and things that you guys host to support your programs, and also the support that you've shown to Abundant Life Institute in the past. So thank you so much for that. Brother Hunt, come and share with us about the program that you're doing with Trick Gear.
Okay, well, wow, it's a lot of curriculums that I work with and work on. I'm actually a graphic writer, so the Trip Gear slash Steering Young Minds slash Leadership by Example slash Behavior 100 is curriculums that started to derive. Actually, when I was, to be honest with you, when I was a child of 13. 5 little brothers, and my mom put me on the mission to take care of them, take them to Sunday school and then take them to the movies, so on and so forth, and then working summer jobs as a recreational person, then joining the Marine Corps. So all those experiences, I knew something was missing, and that was just curriculum, things you can go back to and change, add on, and have some elasticity. So when I came back to Gary, started the program called Leadership by Example. We were in schools, joined an organization called DADS, became the president of another organization called African American Men. When I got to Indianapolis in 2000, I was asked to come to Lawrence North. My 2 stepsons got in some trouble and started a program there called Application for Life. So what I did was basically just build a curriculum based on AOC's, areas of concern, respectability, character, life choices, so on and so forth. Then I started getting contracts with the YMCA, Goodwill, and also IPS. And then I started doing programs called Behavior 100, still under Trip Gear. And then I was at the school, Meridian, the alternative schools there. And I did, again, other programs for the YMCA. So I started to develop theoretically about 300 to 400 different curriculums. So I look at the children, and then I started to design curriculum that I already have, and I just add on to that curriculum. So the concept is really simple. It's IMICE is one of them. It's image, metaphorical, inspirational, character, encouraging. We use images in our graphic novels and to encourage children to make better choices. And then we also have R3 plus R, which is a reason, a relationship, respect, and morality. How do you define morality? Then we have graphic novel teacher's guide, so parents can use those, or pastors, or anybody else. Then we have stories from Leo the Lion for children to the Chronicles of Jack Gunn for middle school kids, and Blackenstein for older kids that deals with the gun violence. It's all poetic, so kids that have problems with reading, they don't have problems with reading this type of literature, and all of it is biblically based. The program I have now, I'm working with the director of the Young Champions and the 3 Boys and Girls Clubs, the one on 30th, the one on State Street, and the one on Post Road. So those are all 3 different environments. So we bring in, I don't go in with the answer. I see what kind of kids we have, the age group, the demographics, and then we bring in curriculum pieces, and then we add on to those pieces, or we take away from those pieces. So and that's Behavior 100. And then we have a lot of curriculums. I mean, people.
So you tailor making your program based on the students you're serving and the curriculum that you have.
Yes.
Good deal. You were very impactful with the youth that you served at the Marion County Juvenile Detention Center. I remember some of the artwork because the students were intrigued by the artwork. Sometimes they need a visual to capture their attention, and you guys do a great job with doing that. And I was always impressed with the capacity, the amount, the output. Like you would come up with a whole new book in a week. You know, it's like it was pretty amazing, and the students responded very, very well. So I am again very proud of the work that you're doing with Trip Gear and all of the organizations that you're serving. You have a wide reach to our youth, and I certainly believe that you're ministering to the heart of youth. And as we move along with the time that we have left remaining, I'm going to merge a question here. And when you respond, you could choose which part of this question you would like to answer. And that is, share one of your greatest successes in the programs that you offer, and also identify service gaps that you have identified that the community could assist with filling that gap as we work to better serve our youth. So again, share a success story and a service gap that the community could come together to help fill that gap for. And so I would like to start with Sister Walker, please.
Man, I feel like I'm a little off guard here, but I'm just going to do the best I can. I would say one of our greatest successes maybe has been recently. I think last year we had one of our young men become one of the recruits for IMPD, and he is regular now on the police department. So, and I believe that's an accomplishment because he knows what it is to be out there and to mentor some of the young men in the program. And so we've tried to get him to come back and then share his experiences. And he wouldn't be the only one. Like I said, I know one who was like an award-winning photographer now, several of them in the military. I won't say take responsibility all the way for getting them there, but we have been a piece of the puzzle that keeps them moving along the right track, I believe. So yes, that would be our some of our successes. The gaps, I would say, is always in funding, always in mentoring or finding mentors, and just the overall community support and recognition. I believe we all need to work together. You do your part of what you do, and I do my part, or we do our part, and we can help somebody. We can't save them all, but at least you got somebody working. And so I believe there's opportunity for the children these days. You just got to find them and then match them up. I've heard a lot of good things today, and maybe some ways, maybe we can network a little better, and that would help us to move along. The violence is definitely a problem, and the mindset. And if you could somehow get those two things to work out, the mindset and just that violent, I don't even know what to call it, but I just believe we need help to get children to understand this is just not the way you want to go or the thing you want to be involved in.
All right, thank you so much. Those are some good service gaps that need attention, funding and mentoring and community support and recognition. So prayerfully, this broadcast, this community impact spotlight sheds the light and allows people to be more aware of what you do and recognize you for the good work that you're doing. So thank you for sharing that. Mr. Durham, would you care to share a success and maybe service gap?
Yes, ma'am. So we obviously, with all of the programming that's represented here today, we could all come up with a number of success stories, but the one that comes to mind immediately is a couple of years back, we had a young man in our battalion military program who did not want to be there. He did not. And so he connected with one of the mentors in the program. That mentor was a graduate of Kentucky State University. And through that connection, this young man that did not want to be in the program finished the program, went on to Kentucky State University, graduated, actually joined the same fraternity as the mentor. And now this young man is working in education in Louisville, Kentucky. So you had a young man who did not want to be there, thought it was a waste of his time. But because of one connection,
That's it.
just one connection, he is now a college graduate and working in education in Louisville, Kentucky. So I think that is huge. I think that's huge. And so a service gap, I agree with the service gaps that have already been shared. Funding and mentor and finding mentors is huge, is huge, is huge, it's huge. So I think something else that is a service gap, and that is I think that we need to take some responsibility off of churches and put responsibility back into the hands of the family. Because we say, well, what is the church doing? The church has been doing what they're supposed to be doing for years. What is the family doing?
Amen.
Is my question. And so I think a service gap is let's connect with families and start talking to families on how they can improve the outcomes and development of their own children. You know, what can they do as a family unit to help their child? And if they can't, that's okay. That's fine. But I think a lot of times, a lot of emphasis is being placed on, well, the church isn't doing enough. I disagree with that. I think the family isn't doing enough. And that's just my own personal opinion.
Good point. Good point. And what a great success story that speaks to going back and getting that one, even the one that wasn't easy to serve, even the one that didn't want to be there. So thank you so much for that. That's great. So Sister Bruno, success story, ma'am. We can't hear you.
I did put myself on mute. We are a 9-year organization, so we've seen them be in the program and transition, like I said, into job placement, thriving with employment, and like I said, opening up clothing apparel stores on an entrepreneurial level. So those are all success stories. But for me personally, we're doing a lot more with the sex trafficking of youth. And I have personally been instrumental in guiding a number of ladies from different parts of the U.S. One in particular was in Texas, and her and her son, actually, believe it or not, and got them back here to the city, got her into a shelter, got her her permanent housing, her employment. And I actually spoke with her about 3 or 4 weeks ago. She's doing really well. So that piece for me is a personal win, because I just know what that looks like, or could end up. Advocating in Chicago for an 11-year-old that was sex trafficked. It did. Resulted in the closing of a ran-down Roach motel where these activities were taking place. So my advocacy is on the forefront of my admiration and getting kudos and just feeding my passion right now.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the field, my sister Conrad, because that's a field that requires a lot and it's ignored way too much in our community. And of course, we're heavily impacted by it. So thank you for that. Brother Hunt, John Hunt.
Yes. Well, 2 quick ones. One is I was a Lifetime gym, and this young man came up to me and said, I know you. I said, from where? He said, we use at Lawrence Central. We use the program there for boys, freshman boys. He said, you changed my life. And I said, I changed your life. I said, I didn't remember the kid. He said, you said some things He said insanity is something when you do something over and over again, get the same results. He said that one statement changed my life. And I just looked at him. I said, okay, I appreciate it, man. The second one is my nephew was a foster child. And we took him out of, my wife and I took him out of the school system. And I created a curriculum called B100 University. And we homeschooled him. And he's in the Air Force. He's doing well. He's been to Saudi Arabia, England, now he's in California. But, so I go back to saying the Bible is a curriculum. And once African Americans understand that curriculum is how we get out of this stuff. Because we can go back to it, we can change it, we can alter it, we can add more to it. So that's really the piece there. Now, to go on some gaps, I agree with what everybody already said. It's the family, for the Boys and Girls Club. So we put out a flyer to give to the managers, and they're going to have it handed to the parents. And what the young lady said about money, we're going to pay some of the parents $20 an hour, where I can train them on the Behavior 100 program. So everybody is saying what the pastor said. As family is getting the family together and making that connection between the children and the parents. That's the missing piece right there. So if we can surround the children, and the children can see, the parents can see. Now, that's not my idea. I was talking to my business partner. He said, how can we get the parents involved in what you're doing at the Boys and Girls Club? And I was like, wow, man, let me think about that. And we started talking, and he said, well, I'll create a flyer. So I think that is, and then they can see the money. It's not a lot of hours, but they can see, that's a gallon of gas or something of that nature. So I think that connection, as the pastor said, about families, putting the family together and then finding ways to make that connection.
Okay, good deal. That's creative. That's creative. We shouldn't have to pay parents to be involved in their children's lives. However, there are some real tangible needs that prevent parents from being involved at the level that they might want to, and offering a financial incentive is a great way to do that. So as we come to a close, I'm going to ask for closing remarks. But before that, I would like to thank you all and applaud you for the work that you do. I pray that God richly bless you, and that provision is made for you to fulfill the cause that you have individually. I look forward to future collaborations and partnerships, because one thing I have come to know in all of these years of services is that you can get way more done collectively than you ever can independently. And sometimes we're so territorial, and it's not necessary. It's our children, it's children who look like us who need the help. And if we could come together and serve them in a better way, why not do so? So if you would, go ahead and share your closing remark, share any upcoming events or anything like that, include how you can be contacted for parents who would like to have their youth involved in your programming. So we will start with Sister LaVon Bradley.
Okay, I just want to say also, I have enjoyed everyone on here, and I do look forward to whatever partnerships come out of this here, because we're all on the same team, different players, but same team. And as long as we continue to remember that, then we should be on the team that should win. And so this Saturday, matter of fact, this weekend, my organization, we're doing an event, and it's called Girl Buy, and the buy stands for Build Your Elevation. And basically what we're tackling this time, because right now the mental health is like at an all-time high, we're going to work with some young ladies, and the age is from 9 up to full adult. And we're working on self-care, but we're also doing vision boards. And then one of the things that we've done before when we did this event is reaching into that person that's within that is preventing them from getting to that next level. Because sometimes, we know that we are our biggest enemy. We are our biggest cheerleader. So it depends on which way you want to put yourself on the scope. So that event is coming up this Saturday. And then we have other things that's going to be coming up throughout the year. So I look forward to just trying to connect with that. In addition to, I'm on all the social medias as wehype.org. And yeah, thank you guys so much for everything.
All right. Thank you so much. Girl, bye.
And that's exactly
I
it, girl.
like that one. Girl, bye. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Miss Walker. Do you guys have anything coming up on your calendar?
No, we don't. But our recruitment starts in actually like mid-April. We start recruiting for our summer camp. I'm kind of rethinking that name now that I've heard a couple of things. But anyway, we are have that recruitment, and we have Thursday informational sessions beginning the first Thursday in May, and we just go every Thursday in May from 6 to, I believe it's from I want to say it's from 6 to 8, where we bring in parents. They also have to they have to bring their young people. They can't come along, you know what I mean? They just can't show up as a parent. It has to be the parent and the young men they want in our program. You can always contact Reverend Walker. I put his information in the chat, and we're looking forward to some collaborations. So thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. And we're in prayer for your situation, and pray that everything goes well and that there's not too much damage done. All right. Thank you. Mr. Durham.
Yes, ma'am. Final remarks. This has been a joy to be here. I appreciate the information that I have received from everyone on the call. So my final remarks really are, we talk about funding, but it's not a competition. We are all in this thing together. And so if we can come together, regardless of who gets the funding, the bottom line is we got to help our young people.
Yes.
So I don't want any of us to feel like we're in competition with one another, because if we are doing what we are supposed to be doing, and if we are doing the work of the Lord, I believe the money will come.
Yes.
So God will take care of us as long as we are doing what He has called us to do. So I'm excited about that. Upcoming events, our Summer Academy, as I mentioned previously, we are taking applications for that. And you can just go to our website at www.100blackmenindy.org and find the application there.
All right. Thank you so much. We look forward to all the great things you continue to do. Thank you. If we can hear from Ms. Bruno.
Again, I appreciate the invite, and this was awesome. I did learn of a couple of new organizations wasn't too familiar with, but I look forward, and I'm always open to any amount of collaboration. I am a great team player, so you definitely will stand to gain in any facet of working together, because I do come bearing fruit. So I'm excited about what I heard on the broadcast today, and looking forward to what develops from it. As far as our schedule, every year we have a full schedule of community enrichment events that can be found posted on our website, which is IND, like Indiana, IND-ROSI. So that's R Richard O Oscar SI.org. So we do post our calendars there, and any opportunities for volunteerism will also be posted on the website. So again, I appreciate the opportunity to be on today and talk about what we're doing and what we're hoping to do better.
Well, thank you for being here. We appreciate you, Mr. Hunt.
Yes, I'm trying to pull up the address, but moving forward, what first of all, I appreciate everybody on the panel. I love you all. Outstanding, superlative jobs that you're doing for the children. That's just the Lord's work. The main thing is for us, we're at I'm trying to pull up the addresses at the Boys and Girls Club on 30th Street. We are at State Street, 801 South State Street, and also Post Road. And parents can contact me 317-506-5571 if you're interested in being trained on the Behavior 100 curriculum. The program is called Young Champions. It's been around actually for 5 decades. So what I really want to do is create a couple of things moving forward. One is we're going to be doing a tour in the summertime, but I would like to also, in the panel can keep this in mind. I've been talking about this for about a decade. It's a 1-800 number. Now watch what I'm about to tell you. This might change all our lives. A 1-800 number. Just a quick story. So when I was in college, I was taking statistics in Liberty University, and you could call this 1-800 number 4 days, 15 minutes, 3 times a day. I wouldn't have passed the class without that. It wouldn't have happened. So what if we have a toll-free number for African Americans that can call in about 100 Black men, calling about finances, calling about housing, calling, because a lot of things that we as families and community, we just don't know. It's a toll-free number that we can call and talk for 7 minutes and say, how can I get this house? Should I go to the military? I can tell you, I can tell you in 30 years, we'll see a difference in the Black community or sooner. So that's one of the things that I want to be able to create. Is that type of universal number where a lot of Black children and adults, we won't make the mistakes that I made or we made.
Yeah, I like that. Black 211. That'll be great. That'll be great.
Yes.
All right. It has been a pleasure to showcase the work that you're doing. I pray that you continue to minister to the heart of youth, continue to make a difference, continue to share the success stories. Don't grow weary in your work. Keep it up, and let's pull together. It's been my pleasure to shine the spotlight on you. First Baptist Church, North Indianapolis, Pastor Dr. Ivan Douglas Hicks and myself, Reverend Tanya Hill, congratulate you all, and we're here to make those connections for you in the future. So I thank you for being on the show today. Keep at it. God bless you all.
God
God
bless you.
bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.